Why are we here today talking about the bleak outlook for coal bailouts? Anyone who watches the energy markets knows the coal industry is in serious trouble. The political rhetoric around the energy markets is higher than it's been for years, if not decades. The truth of the matter is nothing can reverse the market forces that are pushing the U.S. coal industry into further decline. So let's dive into the presentation and look at the information which suggests to us that there's really no hope for any kind of long-term reverse of the industry's decline, no matter what the coal industry and its allies in government would like people to believe. Sorry about that. The key takeaways I'd like you to remember from the presentation, and this is one of the few slides where I'll probably spend a minute or two going through all of the information on them. Coal plants continue to be exposed to the same significant economic and financial risks as they did before November of 2016. Nothing's changed there. The market forces working against coal are inexorable, to use one of my favorite words these days. The increases in renewable resources cannot be stopped. Cost of decline's too much for that. The coal industry and its allies in Washington and in the states maybe can slow down some, but cannot reverse the industry's long-term decline. Bailing out coal-fired generators and the fossil fuel industry will be expensive and it won't work long-term. And for these reasons, it's prudent for communities, states, regions, and the nation to plan for the transition away from coal. Another big takeaway is that coal plants are increasingly caught in either, you can consider it a death spiral for many, or at least a near-death experience. Many coal-fired plants are generating much less power than they did before, and they're not operating as baseload generators, and I'll explain that term in a few minutes. In addition, because energy market prices are so low, the plant owners are getting less revenue for each megawatt hour sold. In addition, production costs at many plants are increasing. At many plants, expensive capital expenditures, CapEx they're called, are also necessary. The combination of selling less power while generating at a high cost and selling at low prices is never good. Coal is in serious trouble even without the EPA. The next few slides are just, maybe you've seen before, but just document the decline of the coal industry. Total U.S. generation has declined significantly in the last decade, meaning that coal no longer provides half of the total U.S. generation mix. In 2016, it was 30.4%. And this has led to a decline in coal production, in mining, as you would expect. Less generation, with less generation, there's less of a need for coal. It's not just a national issue, but it's a state issue. Slide 7 shows the total thousands of gigawatt hours that were generated at the 20 largest coal-burning states in 2011. These range from Colorado up to Texas, which was number 1. As we go to the next slide, you'll see, and these 20 states accounted for 80% of the total U.S. generation of coal in 2011. You can see from slide 8 that the generation from coal in these states has declined by an average of 30% in just the 5 years from 2011 to 2016. The largest declines are in Pennsylvania and Oklahoma. Even West Virginia had a decline. So it's definitely a statewide problem as well as a national issue. Despite all of these problems, the new administration and coal's other allies claim they will make coal great again by eliminating the EPA regulations and DOE programs, reducing funding for the EPA, the National National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and NASA programs that are related to climate change, bailing out failing coal-fired generators, and acting in the states to either roll back rooftop solar incentive programs or eliminate or stall renewable energy mandates. But we don't believe any of this will work. As I said before, it's one of the takeaways. Coal-fired generators continue to face the same energy and economic risks. Low natural gas and energy market prices, rising coal plant operating costs, growing competition from wind and solar as prices decline, little to no growth in the demand for power, low and or volatile capacity market prices, an aging coal fleet, continuing state and federal environmental regulations, and as you'll see later, also competition in the Southeast if the nuclear plants under construction are actually completed. Bailing out coal plants would be very expensive. I'm going to give you two examples based on one analysis we did last year for Coal Strip 1 and 2, and then an analysis we're doing right now for the Navajo Generating Station in Arizona. Last year we found that bailing out Coal Strip 1 and 2, which back then was a plan, well, not really a plan, but was a dream of the state, that instead of having the two units retire, the state would somehow either buy them itself or would require one of the state's utilities, Northwestern Energy, to buy them. Our analysis showed that would cost state ratepayers and or taxpayers somewhere in the range of $800 million between 2017 and 2030. And that didn't even include a number of costs, as you can see on this slide. So the cost was far more expensive than the $800 million that we assumed or calculated in that analysis. I would say that if we redid this analysis today, we would probably have an even bigger